Hello, everybody. Right, so this is a bit of a continuation from the content I did the other day. It's on my YT, and it's called Call to Arms. It's in the Spiritual War playlist, I believe. Yeah, the reason why I'm doing this, it's in regard to sharing and creating in regard to what's going off in the world, specifically in the United States of America. Now, I follow a creator. Her name's Ashley. She goes under the Reckoning Co. and she's got some backup accounts as well. And she's talking and sharing about what's really happening. Now, there is content on things like TT talking about what's actually going off, and I'm fully aware, specifically when it comes to kind of like the spiritual community, that people completely avoid current affairs. Now, as I said in my previous content, I can understand that when it comes to the mainstream media, but being a spiritual person is not about burying your head in the sand. And from here in the UK, I just want to apologise to Ashley and the Americans for how little UK content creators are actually talking about this. Okay, so I do apologise. I am trying my best over here on the other side of the pond, but unfortunately, it appears that I'm just one person. People don't want to actually do content about it. They're happy to share stuff, but they don't want to do content about it. So from the UK, Ashley, I do apologise. Yeah, basically. Now, I am aware, like I say, that people are sharing some of this content, and that's a good thing. However, we need to start being a bit more outspoken about it. Now, I completely get why people don't want to do this content. Now, from my side, I've had moments of going, shall I put that out? Now, from my side, the reason why I've been a little bit hesitant is because, as we all know, middle of last year, I got hit by bot attacks, and I've had to start again. Now, side note, I've deactivated my other account. It's still living, but I've not completely deleted it. It's deactivated, so it is there. Yeah. So I can understand the hesitation. Now, from my side, as a person within the spiritual community, particularly a reader and a preacher, I'm quite happy to share content like this across my social media. Right? Why? Because I feel it's important. I understand that as a spiritual person, I'm here to help people change. And I'm not going to bang on about it too much because I did that in the other content. I get that other spiritual people are reluctant to create content like this, talking about the fact that we are facing World War III. We are facing history repeating itself with El Presidente Trump and his new model Gestapo, right? I get that people don't want to do that. Now, for me, the problem is because we're still feeding into this new age rhetoric. If we just tell everybody everything's going to be okay, then it will change the world. Now, I completely understand it's a bit of a balancing act because on one hand, you don't want to feed into this negativity because then it kind of creates the world around you. On the other hand, denial is allowing this to happen. Now, for me, as Ashley said in her content that I saw this morning, I think it was, we are at a pivotal moment here. Now, what the United States needs to do, as she quite rightly says, is protest, peacefully protest and back Minnesota. Okay. Now, what needs to happen here in places like the UK is we need to show support for this. We need to talk about this because sadly, so many people haven't heard of the files. When we talk about President Trump, they might have heard about the Greenland thing. Now, that's a cover up of a cover up, right? This ICE raids is a cover up of what's going off in the files and what goes off beyond that. It is about control as well, but as I've saw in some other content, which I've also posted on my other socials, the fact that ICE agent is dressed up like a member of the Third Reich is designed to scare you and cause fear. You have to remove the fear. Okay, as soon as you start getting scared, you're drawn into it. You need to see this as it is. It's called a world stage for a reason. It's theatre. It's bloody real theatre where people get offed and stuff like that, innocent people having their lives taken, but it is theatre nonetheless. So it's not a case of burying your head in the sand, but at the same time, it's not about kind of causing fear. And I get the new ages will be like, yes, but you're feeding this. Look at you sharing this stuff, right? For you guys, what I would say is, well, if your theory worked, why are we here now? Why are we here now if your belief system works? Now, the sad fact is that creators such as myself, such as Ashley, such as the others who are trying to truth speak this, we're not getting heard by the masses, mainly because those who do support us don't want to share it. Now, again, I get that, right? If you look at the community that I'm in, I completely understand that your client base is going to be completely different to mine. That's perfectly fine. Okay. However, do your own content. Do your own content in your own way, discussing this. I would appreciate being kind of referenced, as I'm doing with Ashley here, as a point of kind of sourcing where this inspiration has come from, because although the bulk of your support and your followers might not be my people, there might be one or two who want to come and watch me. Now, going on a little bit of a different tact, and I'm going to be bigging myself up a little bit here, okay, and I'm quite within my rights to do so. When we take things like the Wellbeing Fair Best Love Psychic Award, right, for me, yes, it's a bit of fun. Yes, it would be nice to win. However, to get into the top 5 out of basically every psychic in the UK is a massive vote of confidence for me, because that was done by the people in the industry. That, for me, basically says, let's remove the psychic part. You are voting for me as a leader of the new way forwards. Okay. Now, if you have the confidence to vote for me, if you want to call it that, as a leader, you have to let me lead. Okay. You have to get behind me and you have to support me. Now, I get, like I said a moment ago, when it comes to things like my content, you don't, I understand, right? So when it comes to my readings, from my little bit of market research that I did on my old account, a lot of the reasons why people said they weren't reposting my readings was because it was a little bit too accurate. And as you know, my readings are quite gritty and raw. That's perfectly fine. There is nothing stopping you from watching it through, liking it, saving it, or hitting the copy button and commenting. Okay, and that goes across the social media. Okay, because creators like me who are actually speaking out on this for you, right, are getting washed out, wiped out. Okay, now I'm sure there'll be people saying, yes, but you're just doing it for the views and the money. Well, yes, I am doing it for the views because I want content like this to get out further so people can actually start going down the rabbit hole in the horror of this situation. Number 2, yes, I do deserve to be paid my worth, because at the moment I've been scrabbling around for the last 2 years fighting for survival when it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that at all. As I've always said, is it okay to make money out of this game? Yes, of course it is, and you should be paid your worth and value. And as it stands at the moment, I'm not being paid my worth and value. How dare you, Richard? Why should you siphon off all the money? Right. Who makes the big bucks on TikTok when it comes to tarot and spiritual stuff? The TikTok brats. The TikTok brats who come on here, who act like gurus and promote and make money out of promoting things like the Astra app. Right? Now, the irony of it is that the AI, when it comes to psychic gifts and abilities, and they've already done some research on this, is going to kill it. Counterproductive to line their own pockets. I don't see any of the TikTok brats doing content like this. If you're the big I am and you're some spiritual guru, why aren't you doing content like this? And if you're too scared and you want to hoard, then why aren't you sharing and promoting content like this? It doesn't have to be mine, it could be other people's. Why aren't you doing that? Greed. Now, let's talk about some credentials, right? Why would I deserve more money? Well, I've already proven myself when it comes to events and the new wave events, sorry. Now, for me, I have pumped a lot of my own money into that. Okay. Any revenue at the moment that I have gained from those events have been reinvested into this year's events, and then once there's some profit there, it will get reinvested again into next year. Well, that's business, Richard. It is, but I'm the only one offering the decent lower standing fees. I'm the only one pumping that profit into proper advertising. I'm the only one who, on a very limited budget, is going out before events a couple of times to leaflet drop, to put posters up, etc., etc., etc. A lot of these others aren't. They're taking your money and doing absolutely sweet FA. They bung in a couple of £100 on an FB advert and hoping for the best. That's like pissing in the wind. Will I make some profit out of this? Hopefully, when I cut out. Now, if I'm just in it for the short, if I'm just in it just for the money, why is it that I've put a deadline handover date on? The math ain't mathing, is it? If I'm just in for the greed and the profit, why would I build something up to support you as the community to then hand it over? Surely I'd be like the others, building an empire. It's not about the profit for me. It's about setting something up for the people, the real people, the real ones, the true ones. And side note, like I've said before, I'm sorry if you've been on the event circuit for a period of time and you come creeping in, you can fuck off. Right? You've had 2 years to approach me. 2 years. I've got the people, the originals, the OGs of the event circuit who get it. I've got them. They're in my clique. Right, they came forward. They've supported me. Where have you been? Hiding or making a little plan. I'm just looking for new people moving forwards. It's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm doing this because I get it, right? I have no doubt in my mind that down the line, my role's going to change. I've never supposed to be running events. That has been a lesson for me from source in regard to finding my self-confidence, stepping into my divine masculine energy, and also giving something for you guys, right? So just going back to the original point there, right? You need to support creators like me. Like I say, I get that if your client base within the spiritual community is airy fairy spiritual Karens, they're not going to want to see content like that. This is perfectly fine. But in your own way, raise the awareness. Because believe you me, right? If there isn't change, I mean, I've got full belief that this isn't going to, that the light side are going to win. Full belief. However, this is your opportunity to raise your voice. Do you want to raise your voice now and help people to see what's really going off and bring the change? Or do you want to look back and say, I should have said something? When you're in a dystopian world where everything about your life is being controlled, you have to go clock in at 9 o'clock, clock out at 5 o'clock. You've got to be home under a curfew by a certain amount of time. You've got to take your ID pass everywhere. Do you want that? Because that's what the elite want. That's the game plan, and we change it through exposure and solidarity. Oh yes, Richard, you've destroyed the whole spiritual community. Have I? Or did you people do that? By lying to each other, by thinking about yourselves, by leaning on greed, by pushing the same toxic positive narrative. Oh no, I don't want to look at that. That's upsetting. If you'd faced your trauma, if you'd done the hard work that you preach to people who pay you money, it wouldn't upset you. It's not very nice, but it wouldn't upset you to the point where you have to look away and pretend it's not happening. Support creators like Ashley, like myself, and the others. Start speaking out yourselves in your own way for your client base. Otherwise, in the event this all goes tits up, that will be your fault. That will be on you. And you'll get no sympathy from me. Ta-ta.